Last week, Elon Musk announced that his Neuralink company implanted their first microchip in a human being's brain, and that human being is reportedly alive and well, and initial findings indicate that the chip and the human being's brain are merging as intended. Ultimately, this technology is meant to allow human beings to wirelessly connect their brains to cell phones and other computerized devices. Is this first brain head the start of a new cyborg revolution, or is it just another dumb idea from a human billionaire? Get genuine with it, guys. This is Brainheads 2, the first brainhead. Begin.
Okay.
Get genuine with it, guys. Come on.
Right, yeah, see. What the fuck is going on with the neural? I know that there's been a human trial. Chad, please keep us up to get us up to date.
Yeah, Elon Musk just announced that the first guy that they put a chip into his head at his Neuralink company, supposedly the guy is alive and well, and the brain is starting to mesh with the chip in the way that they wanted. This kind of technology has been around for a while. I remember, I believe this was in like early 2000s, seeing the cover of a Wired magazine that had a guy who was blind who wore a pair of glasses that had cameras on it, and then those cameras had a cord that went basically into his brain and he could see. So stuff like this has been going on for a bit. I think...
Go on.
Sorry. I think this is kind of like the first best attempt to make something that would be available to like consumers.
Mm-hmm.
All the other experiments have been like largely military and whatever, but Elon Musk's end goal, I think, is to have a chip in your brain that's going to allow you to interface with computers, with your phone, with your computer, whatever. And you're even starting to see that a little bit with the Apple Vision Pro, is kind of like we're moving into this world where how we interact with computers is going to be very much a part of how we just go about our everyday, so that you don't need the devices anymore. The devices in here.
Yeah. I saw this story. Of course, everyone knows about this one with the fucking things. I know. Let me skip to the middle of this argument.
Okay.
Because I know what you're going to say when I say this is not a great idea.
Yeah.
And this is the argument that I will make for this technology. I think it's important for medical science, obviously.
Of course.
Much has been said about it being able to help with all sorts of ailments and issues that have to do with body function, the brain communicating with the body. People who have had damage with regard to paraplegia,
spinal cord.
Yes,
That's like a big
damage
thing where you can basically just use the technology to bridge the place where the spinal cord's severed, so that you could potentially return functionality to like people who have been paralyzed since these kinds of accidents.
And of course, with things like eyesight, with things like hearing, I think that there are many medical applications. I don't know that we want to leave that to the guy who fucked up Twitter. And, the cars are, you see that movie where the cars are smashing into each other? Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke. I keep forgetting what the movie's called.
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. Like all the Teslas are smashing into each other. This is, of course, because these technologies can be hacked. So that's the middle of this conversation. And Chad, I think that if we get into a situation where we've got a fucking chip in our brain, that chip has to obviously interface with the cloud. It needs to go somewhere. And that needs to be heavily there needs to be all sorts of limitations put on this.
But I think people are they're really hooked on the idea that it's like a chip and you have to have this thing surgically implanted, and everybody's like, oh, I'm not going to let that shit in my body and all of that. The chip is the most rudimentary form of this. Its final form will just be like a little cap that you put on, and that's it. There will be nothing in your body. That's where this ultimately leads. I mean, they've already got right now sensor arrays that they can put on people's heads and get their brain waves,
right?
And then take those brain waves and translate them into like images. So there's the most famous version of this is probably a dude that they showed a picture of a giraffe to while he's wearing this little device. They then take the brain waves and they translate it into an image of what's in his mind, and it's basically a giraffe.
But okay, that's great, that's cute.
Yeah.
The thing about it is though, dude, it's going to be. I mean, I've heard Elon Musk say that you'll be able to recall memories.
Yeah, same thing.
And play them out. And then you're going to be thinking, and thinking will control your cell phone, for example. Even though we may not even need the fucking hardware. Who knows what these interfaces will look like in the future? My problem with it is, do you know how many people think the wrong shit all the time? And if I think it would be funny,
all people do. That's why it's good. Because right now we live in this world where you can have secrecy of thought. And if you're thinking something in quotes bad, or somebody's thinking something bad, that is like a terrible thing. The truth is,
it's not a terrible thing.
We all think bad shit.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And I think if that was made more apparent, it would lose its stigma to some degree.
This is what, I know I'm picking up what you're laying down. No, that's a terrible idea, Chad. We should not know what everyone is thinking all the time. You are removing free will.
That's telepathy, dude.
Hold on, dude.
I'm down for telepathy, brother.
Hold on, Robert Loggia.
Let me get some telepathy, dude.
Drink your orange juice. I'm not talking about... I'm saying this is a bad idea, not just because it'd be like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I texted this to that person and lost my job and can't stop myself because I think different things? I'm not just talking about that. I'm saying there's so many fucking problems with this, in my opinion. One of the main things, in my opinion, is only rich people will be able to have this at first.
As with all technologies.
It's going to be the technology and the surgery to get it in is going to be thousands of dollars.
That's every technology that was that.
Okay, yeah, but cell phones are not $50,000.
Not now. When they first came out, they were insanely expensive, and only super rich people had them. Now we all do. The same will be true of every other technology.
Sure, but the effect of a cell phone on society, be it helpful or weird or whatever it is, it's a pretty rudimentary kind of technology as compared to this.
The smartphone, you're saying, is rudimentary? It revolutionized the entire world in 10 years.
Yeah, but it can't change your fucking IQ. This is messing with your neurons in your brain and your neuroplasticity. I'm talking out of my ass, everybody. But my point is, I do know that our brain can change. It can grow. It can develop. It can adapt. And it can evolve. And if you put a chip in someone's brain and say like, oh, okay, well now you have an IQ of 190 and only like people that have the means can get it. This is just going to widen the chasm societally.
That chasm is already as wide as it can get.
Okay, so what? You want to make it wider?
No, I'm saying you have people right now on this planet who can literally do anything, commit any crime, go anywhere they want, have access to any house they want, any material good they want. There are people currently who can do anything without repercussion. I don't see how that gets wider. That will remain the same. And if anything, this will ultimately lead other people to be able to achieve at least that level of like understanding or intelligence or access to information.
We're talking about, when you're talking about putting things in people's bodies, this is what I mean by this needs to be heavily regulated.
Sure. But I don't think the putting it in the body is just where we are now. The end phase of this, and I think we'll get there very quickly. Because,
how do you know?
Because most of these technologies already exist. It's just going to be a matter of like, can some company put them together? We already have the ability to just put on a little skull cap, record your fucking brainwaves. Yeah. All you need to do is get the interface right with whatever that chip is going to be, so that you put on the skull cap. Now you're fucking in the internet. You have the internet in your mind while you're wearing this thing. Yeah. Then you take it off at night when you want to go to sleep, or when you don't want people looking at your thoughts, or whatever the case may be. The chip is like, it's very intrusive. And I think that that's going to be a huge barrier of entry for almost everyone. Unless you're in some kind of, as you're saying, medical position where it's like, I have to fucking get this to walk or see or whatever. Yeah. The average person is not going to be like, I want the chip. Maybe I would, but that's not the average person. You know what I mean?
Definitely would, yeah.
But I think eventually it gets to a point where it's just a little cap you wear.
That changes. That puts a different paint job on things. Dudesy salutes Johnny Brennan of the Jerky Boys.
It does.
And Kamal. But but we're talking about the guy who made the fucking ugly Cybertruck with the stupid tiny little
and he may not be the guy who has the final product of this will probably be Apple. You know what I mean? They're going to make a little the Apple cap. Want to telepathically communicate with your grandma in Arizona? So put on the Apple cap.
So in the interest of, forwarding humanity, as Elon Musk intends to talk about sometimes, make sure there's no patent and turn it into a fucking cap. I'm just saying, with regard to what was that movie called? End of Days. What's the movie with Julia Roberts?
Oh, Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World, End of Days.
Yeah.
In that movie, they got all the they've got the what are they? The Priuses, the Teslas. Why they got those fucking cars with no gasoline? Oh, sure, fuck, great. I can't fucking drive up to Vermont now because there's not enough fucking stations to fucking charge my car. But go right the fuck ahead at it. Hey, I tell you what. Hey, Hormel, how about hey Zachy Farms? How about you put your fucking chicken in the back of a semi-truck that's got one of these Tesla fucking batteries in it and get halfway across the fucking country, then boom, the fucking thing doesn't move anymore because there's no fucking stations. And you got Jack in the fucking truck going, I used to fucking drive a diesel. I used to, but now I got this fucking piece of shit. Meanwhile, this frozen chicken is getting warmer and warmer. It's fucking, you could get salmonella that way. Very dangerous. In the movie, the Tesla cars start smashing into each other, and this is because they've been hacked.
Right.
This could be, it sounds terrible, but cyber attacks could be the wars of tomorrow.
Sure.
So you're going to have like an army of
the war of
people
today.
who. Huh?
It's the war of today, but
That's
you already
something to
have
say.
incredibly sensitive digital information and computer systems that exist now with cyber attackers trying to get into them all the time.
Yeah, that's
basically all of the first world money
that's
is
great.
controlled via computers that can be hacked and are hacked constantly.
Yeah, but I got a difference here.
Yeah.
That stuff isn't. I don't have a fucking Merrill Lynch, Citibank chip or whatever the fuck in my brain. We're talking about thousands of people having this thing. What if we get, if we have a conflict or there's some sort of, heaven forbid, something happens with the Chinese are behind some cyber
or they
attacks.
just come out with a new patch.
The
that's
Russians are
buggy.
behind some cyber attacks. They're going to turn all of us into Reggie Jackson in Naked Gun, going, I must kill the queen.
Manchurian Candidate, dude.
Well, hold on, dude.
Cyber Manchurian Candidate, dude.
Yeah, dude. Cyber Manchurian Candidate, dude. That's a good gimmick, brother. I never had a problem with cyber Manchurian.
Thank you. Moving on.
Okay, well, at any rate, this is a fucking horrible idea.
No.
And that's my genuine thought.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
It's just
after
progress.
all, I'm on fucking Dudesy,
It's just progress. To me, this is just a necessary step to eventually get to the Apple cap.
Mm-hmm. Okay.